the story of the Israelites and the Amalekites. It's a thread that runs all the way through the Bible, and it's packed with history and deep theological meaning. Let's break down the key points. First, let's talk about their origins and early encounters. So, Amalek's ancestry. The Bible tells us in Genesis that Amalek was a descendant of Esau, who was Jacob's brother. That means the Amalekites were actually related to the Edomites. Kind of an interesting family connection, right? Then we have the first attack in Exodus. Right after the Israelites left Egypt, when they were at Rephidim, the Amalekites attacked them. This wasn't just any attack. It's described as unprovoked and treacherous. They specifically targeted the weary and faint at the back of the line. Talk about hitting someone when they're down. This event really shaped the whole relationship between the two. And because of that attack, there's divine condemnation. God declared that he would be at war with Amalek from generation to generation, and that Amalek's memory would be blotted out from under heaven. Pretty serious stuff. Now, let's look at Amalek's characterization. They became known as the enemies of God and Israel. The Amalekites' actions were seen as a direct challenge to God's authority and his plans for Israel. There was also their lack of fear of God. Deuteronomy really hammers this home, saying they attacked the weak and vulnerable, showing a complete disregard for God's standards of justice. It was considered a particularly evil act, and they were known for their persistent opposition. Throughout the Old Testament, the Amalekites are portrayed as a constant threat to Israel, always stirring up trouble with conflicts and raids. Now, let's move on to the theological significance. One big theme is divine justice. The command to blot out Amalek is often seen as God's righteous judgment against their wickedness and aggression. It also shows God's protection of his people. It demonstrates his commitment to defending Israel from those who sought to destroy them. You can even see it as spiritual warfare. The conflict with Amalek can be interpreted as a symbol of the ongoing battle between good and evil. Finally, we have the account in 1 Samuel 15. This is where we get the story you're probably most familiar with, the one with King Saul. God commands Saul to utterly destroy the Amalekites. But then, Saul partially obeys. He spares King Agag and keeps the best of the livestock. And this act of disobedience, this half-hearted obedience, ultimately leads to God's rejection of Saul as king.